Brothers in Tech is a weekly podcast focused on personal and home technology, helping provide you, our fellow brothers and sisters in tech, with some information, assistance, and recommendations. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Brothers in Tech here on the Mesh.tv. Alan Jackson here, Brian Jackson over on my right. Brian, how you doing?
Good, Alan. Doing good. Back at it.
Yeah.
Our one time a week to connect, and happy to see you. And hopefully, you're going to be leading this one. So I'm pretty excited to take a back seat and let you educate me, which is a very rare occasion. So
This is going to be kind of a fun one. I'll go ahead and say that I'm looking forward to this. Before we get into the topic, just to kind of set up the scene for everybody, this is, Brothers in Tech, our ongoing audio and video podcast we put out, which is all about helping people learn a little bit more about technology around them, especially when it comes to technology in your personal and home life. We don't pretend to be experts at all. We're just as much tech enthusiasts as anybody. We love trying out new technology. We love learning about new technology, but we also realize that we are typically the ones that get the phone calls from people we know, friends and family, about how to fix something or how to make something work from a technology standpoint. So we want to be a resource. We want to be a guide, a help to other people that may be in that same situation or just looking to learn some more and see how they can use technology to improve their daily life. Now, I say that, Brian, about improving your daily life. I don't know if what I'm going to show today is really all about improving your life, but it could make your life a little more interesting and fun.
We've done this for 2 years, a little over 2 years. We've had a lot of episodes that could potentially help people, and not all of them have to. So, no. I think it's okay to veer a little bit. And as you said, we're not the experts, but we certainly don't mind trying things out and even kind of providing you with our experiences, whether they be good, bad, or ugly. So,
Well, that may be the case today. There could be some ugly in this one because I'll tell you, this is still, I'm still kind of dipping my toe back into this water here, but we are going to be talking about virtual reality. So the idea of VR, this idea of spending time in a reality that is not your normal daily reality surrounded by technology. Now, Brian, we talked about kind of AR, VR, augmented reality and virtual reality a little bit in a past episode a couple of years ago, I believe, early on. Talking about it from more of a computing standpoint. What is AR? What is augmented reality? What is virtual reality? And just as a refresher, I think let's make sure everybody is kind of clear what we're talking about here with this, because you're going to hear about AR quite a bit, I think, in the next year or two. I still think that's going to be a big move. I think a lot of the tech companies, I know Apple's supposedly very interested in getting into the augmented reality space. But augmented reality is just like the name says, it is taking what you see around you, your reality, and it's enhancing it. It's adding to it. It's augmenting it. So when you think about the Google glasses that used to be out, I mean, they've stopped making those, but when they had those, Apple's on the verge, from what we all understand rumor wise, of releasing some form of a eyeglass wear that would have augmented reality capability in it. The idea is that you're looking at your real reality, but it's enhanced with either messages and alerts and things around you imposed over the real reality you're seeing. That's augmented reality.
Providing additional stimuli to your current senses, right? But it's not overriding your senses. It's not providing you new senses. It's providing you additional information within those senses. So even Alan, we've talked about some of the examples of some of the heads-up displays in cars where you're looking out of your window in front of you as you're driving, but yet you're also seeing a floating, kind of navigation, or your floating speedometer. That's augmenting your vision, providing additional information within that vision, which is different than virtual. Virtual is actually providing you a new environment, right? So give me a little bit more about virtual. Tell me your definition of virtual.
So like you said, it's replacing what you see around you. So
Right.
most notably, virtual reality typically involves a headset or things to cover up the senses you would
The
use to
current
interact with
senses.
your real reality is going to
Yep.
replace it for you. Um, Back when we did the episode on AR and VR a while back, we I think I was just in the throes or finishing up my time with a VR headset that we had in our house for a while. It was by the company HTC. It was their Vive product, and the idea with it was a whole setup of a head mask that you wore, a face mask. You had hand controllers that you would hold into your hands that would function as your hands, basically in this virtual reality world. And then there were cameras that you would position around your room that would be used to track your movement in this virtual reality space. That setup also required a dedicated, or not dedicated, but a pretty beefy, good computer, a Windows PC computer with a lot of heavy graphics capabilities on it, because the actual environment would be running through your PC. Your headset was just an extension, just an interface to see it and interact with it. So it was also cabled. I had a long cable going from the headset to the PC. So it was a little tethered. It was an enjoyable experience. It was fun to use, but it also became a little cumbersome after a while to know that I've got to maintain a PC to do it. And also I had to be tethered to the PC. So I found myself, always hitting the cord or stretching myself too far away from the PC, and that would cause problems as well. So VR has been around for a while. It was a good experience. I do think it's gotten better. And that's what I'm going to show you guys today is I kind of dip back into the VR world on the strong encouragement of a good friend of mine, friend of the show, past guest host, John Mims, got me back into VR this past week or so. So I do want to show you kind of the latest headset and talk about how it's evolved. And then I'm actually going to put it on and show you guys a demo of some things for those of you who haven't really experienced VR or really don't understand what there is to experience there. We're going to get into it and show that off. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, just for full transparency for everyone, I have zero experience with VR.
Okay.
I am much more comfortable talking about AR. I see AR as having a lot of real world applications, some work applications. We've talked about things like helping people put things together. And, if you were to look at your phone through its camera, see a scenario of all sorts of parts, and it were to show you how you were to put those things together, I think there's a lot of visible ways of enhancing our current situation. But I'm interested to see what your thoughts will be about what are the benefits of a VR environment and what are the possible extreme uses of it in the future. So I'm excited.
Let's do that. All right. So let's talk. I'm going to show you the latest VR. Brian, I'm going to shrink you down. That's okay.
This is what
there we
you've done
go.
all
This
the
is
time.
God. This is so much better. Isn't this a much better way of watching the show? Got me big face, you little in the corner. I like that.
Oh, no.
So let's start first. So this I'm going to be showing, the demo I'm going to be showing for is the latest. Okay, a little background. It used to be a company called Oculus that made a headset, a VR headset. It was the Oculus, they called it. It got bought by Facebook, for better or for worse. I'm not going to get into the whole bit about Facebook. I mean, this is now a Facebook product. This is a Meta product. The company that Facebook, it kind of evolved into. So there's that. You do need to be aware that the product I'm going to show you is a Facebook-owned product, and you do have to have a Facebook account in order to use it. So that may be a turnoff for some people. Now, there are other VR headsets out there. Sony PlayStation makes a VR set. There are other companies that make some right now. So there are different platforms to get into. But it's very similar in that once you've kind of gotten into this particular platform, there's a lot of things you can do within this virtual reality platform that are going to be different than other platforms. So it's not like it's a complete universal. Everybody that's on VR now has this shared experience. You are still very much like Mac, Windows. It's very much platform based, what kind of applications you might have access to, or you can use or do inside these environments. Okay. So this is the headset. I mentioned before that the previous experience I had with these is that it was tethered to a PC and it needed to have a very, very, very heavy PC graphics wise to be able to run, which I mean, that's already a pretty big expenditure. This no longer needs that. It is a standalone product. The only cable I've got right now is a charging cable, which I don't even need. So it is truly standalone. This is the headset that comes with the Oculus. It's now called the Meta Quest. It's the Meta Quest 2, second version of it. Still owned by Facebook. It's now Meta, but it's called the Quest. It's just a rebranded name for the Oculus that used to be out there. But this setup in particular comes with the headset I mentioned and 2 of these hand controllers that fit into your hand like this. This basically acts as your hands inside the virtual reality experience I'm going to show you. Okay. And that's it. That's your 3 pieces. You have 2 hands, one for each hand, and you've got the headset to wear. No cables. You don't even need a computer. This completely runs off your Wi-Fi network. So when you put this thing on, everything to set up this virtual reality experience for yourself is inside the headset. You can connect to your wireless network through here. You can connect to your Facebook account, which you got to do inside here. Everything can be done self-contained in this. This does have a computer inside of it. Does have a processor. It has storage. Everything.
Yeah. So for Alan, for a parent looking to get this for a child or something, there is no need for a PC or a computer at all. There's no need for a phone. This is take it out of the box. As long as you have Wi-Fi, you can set up. And of course, you get a Facebook account, right? So.
Correct. Yeah, that's the one thing. It does have to have a Facebook account to operate. But however you set that up, you could set that up anywhere on any other device. But to actually operate this, you do not need any other device.
Okay.
All
right. And Alan, I'm assuming all 3 pieces independently have their own batteries. So you charge all 3 pieces, or is there like a dock for them, or how does that work?
Yes, on both. So it does not come with a dock in the standard package. Third parties do make docks that you can set the headset and the 2 hand controllers on. But even if you don't get the dock, it's a USB-C port to charge this.
Yep.
These are removable batteries. They do have batteries inside the handset. You can charge them if you have a charger or a base to set them on. But even if you don't, it's just you pop off a case and can swap out the batteries.
Are they? I mean, they're like AA sorts of batteries, or are they?
I haven't opened them up yet.
Batteries. Okay.
I haven't opened them up yet. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a good question. But
so it's rechargeable batteries, but potentially proprietary. Okay.
But not with the cable, or you charge it, plugging into a wall or to a computer. This is going to actually be actual batteries you go in there and replace.
Got it.
Yeah. Now, if you get a dock, you can actually put all the devices on it and it will charge all 3 devices at the same time. So there is some way to do inductive charging through here.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't quite figured that out yet, but
it's like when we had their controllers, right? You would use AA's for each of the controllers, but then you could also swap that out for a rechargeable one that you can put on a rechargeable base. So
Yep. Now, so what I'm going to do now I've kind of shown you this again. No other computer needed, no other device, just a Wi-Fi network. So I'm going to put this on, Brian. If you give me just a second, we're going to get this set up here. I'll be able to show you. You guys can all laugh at me wearing the headset, and I'm going to look goofy as all get out, and I get that. But I'm going to actually be able to put up on the screen what I'm seeing. So we're going to talk through a little bit of what this looks like and how it works. So bear with me here for a minute.
Yeah, we have no problems laughing at
the
you.
Headset. I know. I didn't figure you would. So that's good. I'm going to go ahead and unplug this because I think I'm charged enough. All right. So let's see if I can get this configured. Let me take us off that view.
So the headset really isn't that noticeable at all, right? I mean, you could have it on, no one would know, right?
No, I walked around town.
It just disappears
today, and really nobody said anything. It
totally disappears. Yeah, that's great. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to go in and get this started. So just bear with me just for a second, Brian, if you want to entertain everybody for just a minute while I get this set.
Gosh, I'm just really hopeful this doesn't backfire, that you don't have any sort of dirty images or experiences that are going to pop up on the screen here by accident.
Oh,
Um,
I forgot about that. That may be something I could remember here.
yeah.
All right. Yep. Here we go. Good. Okay. So here I go.
Here we go.
I am in the world. All right. So Brian, what I'm showing you right now is that if I have just started up my, this device and I put it on my head, you're seeing what I'm seeing right now. Now I'll tell you the little bit of a difference. What you're seeing on the screen currently, for those of you watching this on video, is a much more dulled down version of what I'm seeing. Because again, you don't have these devices have two cameras inside for your two eyes. And it's kind of creating a nice depth of field experience, everything. You don't really get that from the screenshot that you're seeing right now, unfortunately. So just be aware of that. But as I look around, I am in my virtual home. This is my house that I have created inside this virtual world. It's pretty nice, I must say. I like it. And it looks really nice inside these goggles. Again, as I move my head, I'm moving around and I'm seeing everything here around me.
Yeah. So Alan, I mean, just to clarify, so what you're seeing is only, I mean, it's the screen that's 2 inches in front of you. And of course, if you imagine having your phone 2 inches in front of you, that is a beautiful screen, right? That is in front of you. So you've got a really nice high def, probably 4K version screen in front of you, given the distance it is, right? I mean, so it's
not 4K. I will say it's not. I mean, it is a very nice image. The sharpness can vary because again, I mean, we are dealing with something where it has downloaded this room environment into the local headset here, but other things are happening in a streaming environment. So, there's give and take. It's not always going to be, don't come in here expecting it to be this razor sharp experience, but it is very, very good. And it looks much better than one I used 2 or 3 years ago, for sure.
Okay. And Alan, sorry, I'm gonna ask a few questions just from our perspective. So do me a favor. Keep your head straight ahead. So look straight ahead. And if your eyes move around, that doesn't change the perspective, right?
Okay. It does not.
So what's doing is it's providing the visual environment in front of you. So when you said earlier you've got two cameras, you really meant two screens, right? They're not actually tracking your eyes. Okay.
No, you're right. Not really cameras. I meant cameras
screens.
as far as what we saw out.
Gotcha.
It's two screens going in, yes, in front of my two eyes. That's creating a much more, I've got depth of field. I can see. I keep hitting the microphone. I realize that, and I apologize for that.
So you got binocular vision, right? You've got your two eyes that are providing a much better, rather than just holding your phone in front of you. You've got two screens that each kind of provide this converging experience. And
that's correct.
Yeah, hold your hands up a little bit. Yeah. So now we can see your. Hey, go ahead and hit the mic. That's fine. Yeah. So we're seeing right now the virtual image of your hands and your controllers. So that's cool. Yep. I like it.
The lines are showing me kind of where I can point and interact with things. So that is my interface. This is how I'm interacting with this world. So I'm using the pointer to point to different things. Okay.
And then what do you do? Click a button to select it?
Click a button on my thumb. And now I have other menus coming up. I can take these and actually click and move them around. If I want to grow them, make them bigger on the screen, or I can bring them down a little further. I can swing everything around to a different side if I want to view it over different ways. The interface is pretty fun to play with. You can get it exactly the way you want it to interact with it. You see right off the bat, man, I've already got some apps installed on here. This has its own app store, just like every other VR platform does. You can go in, some are free, some you have to buy the apps, but you install them into this VR experience. Okay. So let's show some of the things that are probably the most interesting to look at first off. Let's start with a kind of a simple one here. So this is an example of an app. So again, once you've downloaded the app, you're now opening the app just like you would be on a computer. You're watching it boot up and starting inside your virtual experience here. But this is one that is all about trying to mimic a space station that you can actually go into. and you can actually move around in the International Space Station.
Oh, very cool.
Okay.
So, Alan,
So
while you're doing that, I'm going to ask a question real quick because I think this is relevant. So, someone asked on the chat, do you experience any dizziness when you move quickly?
Yes and no. So initially, yes. Now, no. But I also, there are some games I'm actually going to show you and experience in a little bit that I think is one that could cause a lot more queasiness for people. Me moving my head quickly, I don't really have any issues again, but I've gotten a little more used to it. The first time I was doing it, it did become a little more disorienting. I will be honest on that. So
it's probably more dizzy inducive to us watching your screen of moving quickly than it is for
I would
you
agree.
because you're in that environment, right? Yeah.
Yep. So here we are. So this is a great example of VR in that I am now in an International Space Station environment. So when we ask what practically can be done with VR, what could be interesting, think about this from a learning experience. Think about this from an experience standpoint in general. If I'm actually in here and it is going to walk me through a tutorial, but I'm actually able, okay, hold on. I've got to be mindful of my space here. It's telling me to things, and I've already gone through this tutorial once, so I don't really want to do that. But as you can see, I'm able to interact with the space. It gives me a map I can look at here on the screen. And then I'm trying to remember how I'm supposed to move forward. I know this is thrilling excitement right now, but I'm probably going to hop out of this because unfortunately,
for people watching here, and of course, if you're listening to the podcast, you're probably incredibly bored. But if you're watching, right, what we're seeing on the screen is much choppier than what he's experiencing. This is
you are getting some choppy video, I take it, right?
A little bit, a representation of it's jumping, a lot. But that's
that is not what I'm
because
seeing.
We're streaming, partly because
it is streaming through the computer browser. It is a very super smooth experience for me here.
Nice.
As I look around and see. All right. So now the idea here would be is that I'm going to have to get out of this because I unfortunately went and did the tutorial and I did not want to do that. So, so let me show you a couple other things. Roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
This is where, yes, somebody could probably get very sick with this. And Brian, I know you love roller coasters, so this is going to be great for you.
I'm going to be looking away for a bit.
That was a joke. I know Brian does not. Now, this will obviously be very, very choppy when it's playing on the streaming for you guys. But again, it is very super smooth, very much a very immersive experience here when I'm doing it. I'll get to a couple more interesting applications in a minute, but we got to do this. This is kind of the typical VR experience you got to show. So I'll go in here. Again, I'm interacting with everything using my controller. Okay. So if I want to go into the rock falls, and let's go ahead and go and play. Okay. So now it's going to load it up again. It's very much like a computer. It's loading up its applications or your phone or tablet or anything. The applications you've downloaded from the store, free or purchased. And it's saying, okay, I got to bring down the bar. Got the bar. I don't know how smooth this is playing, Brian. Again, I can't see it, but I'm hoping you can at least see.
It's a little choppy, but we're getting the sense. Yeah,
you get the idea. There's some rabbits jumping.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up.
What? What happened? Did I lose you, Brian?
Hold on.
What happened?
I think. Jose, I don't know. I was hearing a lot of music, but maybe that was from a different window.
Shouldn't be from me.
Okay, yeah, that must have been another window I had popped up.
Okay.
So and by the way, sound you're able to hear.
Yes.
How does sound come with the headset, Alan? Because you've got your headphones on.
You know what?
Now,
it's amazing. There is sound coming through the headset. It sounds like it's piping right into my ears, but it's not, obviously. I don't have anything plugged in my ears other than the AirPods I'm using
to listen to you. Bone conduction?
I think there's a little bit of that going on with the strap on the side.
Yep.
And there is a little bit of a speaker just here on the back side
Okay.
that I know that you could hear a little bit of, but it's amazing for me. The sound is, I had to remind myself, I'm not listening to this sound through headphones or anything else, but it sounds very immersive when I'm in this.
So Alan, do me a favor here in a second. Well, whenever you finish this, I want to maybe before you take your headset off, I want you to pull it away from your eyes a little bit and see if this sound, because if you pull it away and it's not touching your face anymore and it's not as loud, then obviously it's a bone conduction thing.
Hold on just a minute, Brian. This is kind of the big drop here. Hold on. Oh boy. Okay.
Okay. Look away.
Again.
Look away.
Ooh, okay. Now see, this is a little queasy at this point. I'm starting to get a little much. But you get the idea. And again, while we're riding around, I can still look around all the way behind me.
Well, why would you? Oh,
yeah. So anyway, this is pretty crazy. I'm going to stop this because again, this is probably not the most. Oh, and I can take a selfie or a photo there as well. Take a photo. Good. All right. Let me stop this before this next big drop here. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of this. Quit that game. Okay. So now I'm back in my room again.
Okay.
Questions.
Okay, Alan, I've got a couple questions here. Right. Yeah. One is, so obviously we know visually it's replacing that sense. It's providing, a new visual environment, right? But is it, when you're on the roller coaster, is there any other sensory information other than vision and hearing? Is there any vibration? Yes. Is there any of that that's going on?
There's vibrations in the hand controllers.
Okay.
I do have vibrations like on the roller coaster just a second ago. As it's going up the hill, it was shaking. Went down, it would shake some as well. There's no vibrations or anything in the headset, which is probably good. I think that would be too much.
Yep.
So you have the sound coming through the device, and again, the sound is really impressive. And that the first day I used it, I completely forgot that I wasn't listening on headphones, and somebody walked in the room here while I was doing this, and of course they could hear it too. But it just, the way they've got it piped in, it just sounds very, very good. I had to remind myself that it's not a personal audio piped into my ears.
Can you also, though, connect, say, AirPods or some wireless headphones as a Bluetooth device?
You can. Yep. Okay. It does accept Bluetooth devices. If I were to go into my settings, I can show that I've got, let's see, where was it? Under settings. Here's all the settings I have available. There are Bluetooth devices here. So even if I needed a keyboard or mouse, I could connect those as well. I can pair a different Bluetooth device with it.
So yeah, I mean, could you think, if you're really wanting to use this as an immersive experience and not get distracted by sound that's in the room or other things, you could switch to a noise canceling headphone or in-ear headphones and then kind of create a even more immersive experience.
Absolutely. And can I give you a couple pointers for anybody who decides to get into this kind of experience? It is probably one of the freakiest things in the world to be in this environment and have somebody else tiptoe into the room and touch your shoulder without you knowing it. Okay. So just be warned, the more you do close yourself off, it can be jarring when something from the outside world, like let's say a cat walked into our house, our cat walked in the room, brushed up against my leg while I was on this thing the other night, and it does kind of freak you out a little bit. So let me show you one thing too before I go into another app experience. So right now I've told the VR experience that I'm in a seated position. If I go back over here, this guardian, it's basically saying it wants to create a guardian boundary around you for you to move around in, that it knows it's safe for you to be in. And I'm telling it I'm in a stationary mode. Now, you're going to see something weird right now. You're seeing my view through the goggles right now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It is showing me this to show me that this is what my environment around me is, just to remind myself. And then I can see that there's a blue circle surrounding me. That is telling me that since I'm in a stationary mode, that is my boundary. And it wants to make sure I don't have anything in this area that I could hit or move or bump up against that would be damaging to me. Okay. So that's good. That's kind of a way. And if you happen to step outside of that boundary at any point with these goggles on, this type of transparent view comes up. So I can actually see what I'm getting ready to hit or bump into around me. So
Okay,
that's
so
good.
Alan, just to confirm, we're only seeing a floating window
Oh, you're
on a
not seeing
black
the actual.
background, but
Okay.
we can see your hands, and we know kind of what you're suggesting is occurring here. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what you're saying
I'm
is you're actually
currently
seeing the world
seeing,
around you.
yes, it is now acting as a
Okay.
pass through and showing me my desk, my computer, my room, and it's letting me know that this is what's currently around me, and it's wanting to make sure that I'm not going to hurt myself by stepping outside of that
And
area.
is that doing that
So,
from a external camera, a camera pointed outwards right now?
yes,
Okay.
correct. It's a very,
Okay.
very low definition camera. It's
Yeah.
black and white
Yeah.
only. It's just
I
showing me
got you.
enough information to know what's going on.
And
But
that's
I
so
can
that
switch.
any
Mhm.
situation that you get yourself in virtually is not going to get you hurt because it's saying make sure
Correct.
that you're clear in that blue circle.
Right. Because, for
Got it.
example, if I were to throw my hand up, my computer screen is right here in front of me, my laptop screen that I'm on right
Okay.
now. So, obviously, if I were to hit my arm out too far outside that boundary, I could hit something. So, it
Yeah.
is letting me know what my world around me looks like to confirm that. Now, I can go switch to a room scale. And by room scale, it is going to let me draw a space around me that I can actually move around in if I choose to be standing and mobile within this environment. But to do that, I have to make sure I've got a large enough space to do that, and I'm not going to hit anything. They recommend a 6.5 by 6.5 foot or greater space to do this in. Some programs or games and apps will make use of the ability for you to walk around in this. Or I can choose to be stationary like I am right now if I'm not planning on moving away from my seat or this stationary spot.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. Very
So anyway,
cool.
that's kind of a nice feature to know that we have that Guardian there. Again, I'm connected to the Wi-Fi in my house. I can control my volume level for the actual headset. I can control brightness here. Um, tell me if you can see this now. You're still not seeing that black and
No,
white?
that went straight to a black.
Yeah.
Everything's
Okay.
black except for the floating window. Yep.
That just must be a limitation on the streaming that I'm able to do from this
Mm-hmm.
device. So that's fine. Battery level, I'm up there. I got my battery level for both my controllers. I can see.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
there was a question earlier about battery life, like how long
Yep.
would batteries tend to work on the
Um,
headset, and because
the
we've
the
only had it for a
headset,
little while, I don't know if
yeah, the headset. I think a full charge, I could probably be 4 or 5 hours.
okay, in use four or
Probably
five
on.
hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's consistent use 4 to 5 hours.
And obviously you
And
haven't had to change the controllers yet.
no, they're
Okay.
still. They use very, very little battery life. It appears because I've been on this probably a cumulative 12 hours at this point, and I haven't seen
Okay.
those drop below 100%. So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. Let me show you a couple more things, just a little more different uses. I mean, obviously, games are something very easy to experience on here, but let me show you a couple other things. So, YouTube does have a VR version of their video player. So, the idea here is that I could actually go in and watch a video. I got to watch ads too. It's just like YouTube. So, same experience.
And Alan, what we're seeing is what looks like you're in front of a theater wall screen. Or okay,
Yeah,
now we're seeing okay.
right.
Now we're seeing it a
That
little bit more
interface was
immersive.
on a screen, but then these 360 videos that YouTube does have up on their system are truly 360-degree. I am moving my head around. The video's not
Oh
moving. I am
wow.
moving. And I'm looking all around. So I'm following this dude as he's getting ready to go free solo
Climb.
up the mountain.
Jeez.
But as he's doing that, I'm still looking around. So I'm seeing what I was up there. He is up there. But I can see around. And again, the video's not moving. I'm the one moving my head to see the experience the way I
So
want to see it.
these videos were shot specifically with 360 cameras so that all the
Yes.
information was gathered, right? That is
Correct.
really impressive. Really impressive. Yeah,
So,
I've seen him scale the wall at Yosemite, I think.
yep. So here we are. It looks like he's in his car. Let's see where he is. Oh, there he is. He's eating breakfast, getting ready to go out for the day.
Jeez, that is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for anybody who's seen this movie, I mean, these are clips that normally you would have seen from one perspective, and yet you can go and immerse yourself in that.
Yeah. And I mean, it is YouTube, so I can still skip ahead, control it just like normal.
Okay,
yeah, there
here
he
we
is.
go. Here we go.
Yep. So,
wow,
this is fun. This is definitely a different experience than you're used to watching some of these videos.
Okay, Callan, could you look down? Oh, okay. Yep. Sorry. Whew. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right. So that's kind of YouTube experience. And let me show you one more kind of just fun, just for me, because I am a video guy and movie guy, and I enjoy this. So let me show you another experience that I think is kind of fun. This is an example of an app. It's called Big Screen, that is on any VR platform I've seen so far. So it's one of those applications that you don't have to just be on a Quest or a certain device to have. I've seen this on other ones as well. This is meant for watching movies in a large screen video environment. Okay. So I have Top Gun on 3D that I'm going to watch in my theater room here. Okay.
And so that's
this is my theater
room than
room.
You were in earlier. Yeah.
It is. This is my theater room that I've chosen that I like quite a bit. It has a Roomba running on the floor, if you see that. Okay. But there's my movie watching. Okay. Now it is in 3D in this room. I know it's not 3D for you to see because it's not capable of streaming it in 3D, but this is a 3D movie I'm currently watching. I have controls as well. So if I choose to, let's get to some of that. Here we go. Okay. So I am watching the movie in 3D. Now, a couple of the nice things about an experience like this is that, if I wanted to move to another spot in the room, I could choose another seat. And now there I am viewing it from a different angle. Now, what's great about this is that since this is an application that other people can join in, I can have friends of mine who are on other VR experiences join this room. I can send them an invitation. They can come in and they can be sitting at these other seats. And I can be talking with them while the movie's playing if I choose to. We can hear each other, we can hear the movie, and it becomes a shared experience at that point.
So, Alan, kind of another interesting thing that we're seeing your hands every so often when you point to something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do like 2-finger point or something like that. Okay. So you're doing all sorts of little hand gestures there. So that obviously is what the sensor, the big round sensor on the top of the hand grips are, right? Is it's kind of recognizing what your fingers are doing within that.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is mimicking some, the triggers you see on my fingers are gripping. If I move my buttons, it's doing some thumb motions there, at least on one. Each application handles your hands or portrays your hands a little differently on the screen.
Okay.
But yeah. So then where was it? Oh yeah. And then again, I am controlling things with that little pop-up controller. So there's I'm just going to stand here. All right. So that's a good view of the movie right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I honestly can sit here anywhere in my house, sit here, watch this movie in a little bit more immersive experience than I can on a regular TV. But again, it's nice if I have somebody from another part of the country that's a friend of mine that I actually want to sit here and watch it with, and we're watching the same movie at the same time. There's something kind of fun about that. So
yeah. So the difference between what you just showed us a minute ago with YouTube and this is trying to create a virtual theater watching experience to where your head can move, but the screen stays where it is. And
correct.
The other one was basically providing you the movie in front of you and allowed you to move around within the movie.
That's right.
So this is kind of where the difference between putting, say, for example, your phone up in front of your face, you're seeing a screen and that phone stay in the same spot, but this is understanding your head movements and trying to replicate what that virtual environment might be like. So it's really, really cool. And you're saying you're experiencing 3D right now. Tell us what the 3D is. Like what is 3D about it?
Well, I mean, like right now, the letters on the screen, the title are like feel like they're floating above the image.
Okay.
This plane landing, it does have some depth to it. Tom Cruise is much further closer to me than the rest of the background is. It's like what you when you go to the movie theater with the 3D movie. It's the same idea.
But it's still staying within the screen dimensions of what you're seeing. Okay.
Correct. It's not expanding outside the screen. It's not 3D like out of this screen environment. It's within the square. But the image is in 3D, which, you know, for certain movies, I think is a nice way of viewing it. It doesn't work for it's not going to be ideal for every movie, but I think one like this, it kind of works nicely.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
Kilmer is much more in my face than the others behind him. So, yeah. So anyway, this, I think, you know, it starts to get kind of a really fun experience for this.
Okay. So
Alan, again, you got the social side of it.
Yeah. Compare that though. Compare watching a movie right there versus watching in your home theater. How similar is the experience?
Okay. So watching like a real movie in my home theater.
Yeah. So you watching this movie now versus you watching this movie on your actual home theater.
Well, okay. If I have the choice, I'm still going to watch it in my home theater if I'm watching it by myself, because I'm having to watch this movie with the headset on my head. You know, it's good quality wise. I can still get a little better on my home theater. Yeah. But the difference here is that if I wanted to be watching this with somebody, I think that's where things are really important here. Because again, I can turn my theater into a public room and let other people join me, or I can give people a code, friends of mine, and they can join my room by just punching in my code. That's where this becomes nice. I'm not going to necessarily sit here and watch a lot of movies by myself in this VR experience. Although the 3D side of it is kind of nice for some movies. It's really more about the experience you can share with others, I think, when you get into this. Yeah. So let me go ahead and get out of this too. I think you get the idea for this. How do I get out? Getting out of things is one thing I have a hard time figuring out how to do. Let's quit this.
No, it's Facebook. It doesn't want you out.
Yeah, I know. It's true. It doesn't want me to leave at all. So yeah, that's
it's pretty sweet. It's like I say, we're obviously not seeing nearly the quality that you are, but
no,
we can get the idea of how you're immersed within a new environment. That's incredibly cool.
So there's a lot of people putting content up on the VR experience. Like, you know, this is like a built-in TV app that just allows you to see different content that people have put up. I mean, people are putting up 3D objects. They're putting up other things you can interact with, which is kind of fun. If I want to go in and see other people, right now I've just got one friend in here, but, you know, I can actually see if there's other people that I know that might be on there. Again, the store, I can go in and see other applications, just like a app store on any other device. And I can open it up or I can buy it depending on if it's a free or purchased one. So here's a lot of creativity and design apps. There's one I used to use that I haven't gotten for here, but this tilt brush is amazing. It is a drawing app inside this environment where you're using your hands as tools, paintbrushes and other things, but you're drawing in a 3D space and creating things. And it's just amazing what some people are doing in this. And again, it's just something you can't really replicate too much in a 2D environment.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of fun things to play with.
So Alan, I was just
it's
looking.
Gotten more expensive. So yeah.
Do you have? So I was wondering about the refresh rate or the frame rate that you're experiencing. Mm-hmm. I know that the device is supposed to be able to go up to 120, right, 120 hertz, but I think that's only with certain content. Do you have an idea from your settings, like what frame rate you're viewing things in right now? Because obviously there's a lot of kind of research behind what the frame rate is to make it feel like a fully immersive experience versus a movie experience or something like that?
I don't really. So I don't actually
Displays.
know. Tracking frequency, 50 or
Well,
60 50 or 60
50 or 60
hertz. But
hertz. Yeah. So that's tracking. Yeah. So that'd be like what it was getting probably from your head movement and everything. But I guess probably the video, that what you're actually seeing, the quality or the frame rate of the video you're seeing within the headset, I would assume it just depends on the what the actual media was that you were viewing.
yeah,
But I know it will go up to 120 frames a second, which some TVs do, and that provides better kind of experience for live TV or live sports and all of
hmm
that. But as we know, Alan, what are movies tend to be recorded or
well,
presented?
most films are 30 frames per second.
Yeah,
TV used to
yeah,
be like 24, I believe.
yeah.
Movies are coming out now that are 60 frames per second that they were shot. Some even going up to 120 frames per second. Um, I think from what I understand, if I remember correctly, I think between 60 and 100 frames per second is where the human eye has really a
Or
hard time discerning
yeah, I think yeah,
between.
that's what I think I understand.
Is that right?
90, 100
Yeah.
is when you
90 to
start to
100. I
have a
think,
hard
suppose if
time
you're seeing
recognizing.
something at 90 to 100 frames per second, it's supposed to be very hard to discern from real life.
Yeah.
And
And the
I'll tell you right now,
120
again,
and
I know it's,
240, that's going to be
yeah,
just
I know from the streaming you guys are seeing on the show, you're not seeing the full experience of this, but I mean, the frame rate to me looks about as smooth as I can imagine it being.
hmm.
Um, it is truly a smooth experience for sure.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, let me show you one more thing. I think I meant to show. So just talking about the whole interactivity with other people. Um, I told you John Mims was the one who got me into this. Get on this particular device. This was a recording of when we were on together in his room and talking. So again, I could hear him, he could hear me, we could see each other or see each other's avatars. And at this point, it is possible when you're with somebody else in a VR experience to share things with them. So he could actually bring up a video he was watching and we could watch it together here if he chose to pull it up, or throw up other things or start an application that I could then jump into and join him in. So it does allow for that kind of very much a shared experience. It doesn't give us legs. I haven't figured out why that is, that we don't have any legs in this world. There you go. John has no legs, as you can see. So that I can't figure
Well,
out. But other than that, it's
probably because you don't have any sensors on your legs, so they can't
well,
really
yeah, they
represent any
can't see
sort
what
of
we're doing with that.
movement,
It's true.
right? Yeah.
Real quick, last thing, you want to see my avatar?
Yes.
This is what I've created for myself. How do you like that?
Oh yeah, that's much better looking than you really are.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I think I did really well on that.
Is it possible for your avatar to be on the podcast from here on? I mean, is that something that we can make happen?
Yeah, I think that's possible. Yeah.
Yeah. I would much prefer looking at that. Yeah.
But Brian, as we talk about practicality, kind of wrapping this up a little bit, as we talk about practicality on this, I mean, yes, most of the things that you're seeing here are entertainment based, games, watching movies, and so forth. I do want to express what I think is possible with this technology as things go forward. I mean, the idea that I could, interact with someone who is, around the world or far away from me, we can interact in the same kind of space and experience the same media or the same games together is very fun. Now, granted, I know you can do that on a lot of game systems. You can have a shared game experience with other people, but to have it all kind of encapsulated in this virtual world is fun. It's a nice way to interact with people if you choose to do that. From the educational standpoint, I mean, I think you saw what that International Space Station mission I was showing, and there's some other examples, plenty others on here that I haven't even loaded up. The idea of being able to experience things that you couldn't experience otherwise, and see them in about as close to the way you can from a computer-based experience, I think is pretty fun as well. There is fitness opportunities. Obviously, if you've got something on your head tracking your head movements and something tracking your arm movements, Obviously, there's some fitness and exercise opportunities here as well. So there's a lot of movement, a lot of applications available for that. And when I saw that, I haven't even really tried yet, is kind of this idea of designing things. So thinking about things in a 3D space, think about architecture, think about designing products in very much a three-dimensional world. I have not played with this app yet. I was just getting started in it, but
So it's
hopefully,
kind of what, like a maker space or something.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to see what I can do here. And again, this is really meant for like designing. They say, designing buildings, designing
architecture,
layouts of things,
product. Yeah.
And I really have no idea what I'm doing here because
we can tell. Yeah, we can
I have
really
not
tell.
used this app before yet, as you can tell. So something's going on. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yep, that's.
Oh, well, here I can at least move around in my space, get closer or further away from objects. Whoa. Good to know.
Yes.
So again, it looks like it's letting me build a space. I don't know if I can do.
Okay, so we can see.
Here we go. How do I get closer in? Oh yeah. So I'm actually putting trees. This is like a landscaping setup here. So I'm actually putting trees down. Now if I want to put a chair. Nope. I want a chair. Oh yeah. I'm really far away from this, as you can tell, but the idea is that I could actually be building walls and arranging these things where I want to put them.
I was hoping you do a little Bob Ross here, a little happy tree. Create a little happy tree.
I don't know how to do any more trees. Yeah. I'm just doing a lot of chairs. There's gonna be a lot of chairs in this place. Look at this.
Yeah. Well, see, we can't see any chairs happening. All I see is just one little bush.
Oh, no, the chairs are. It's because it's really close in there. You see
there we go. Now we're seeing the chairs. Okay. All right.
That's why I said they're really small.
Really small. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I have no idea what I'm doing. Now I'm putting out something else. What is that? Tables? Oh yeah, tables. All right. This I obviously have no idea what I'm doing, but I think you get a sense of at least knowing that there are some cool capabilities.
Interior design, landscape, like architecture. Yeah. If you want to take a look at something from multiple angles, but you can't actually be there with the device, that's pretty cool.
All right, now I just gotta get out of here.
Oh Lord. Okay. Yeah, we'll see in 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay. So Brian, I think I've shown demos all I want to show on this. I hope it gives you a little bit of a sense of what's possible here. I think there's some really fun applications. It's not for everybody yet. I mean, I fully expect that. It is definitely geared still more for entertainment and immersive experience games than it is anything else. But I think they're working on it. I think they're trying to get to that point where it's going to be something that you could use on a more regular basis. These are all cardio fitness apps here. I'm looking at boxing. I actually did kind of want to get into that. I thought that looked like it would be fun. I can see a little preview of what the boxing looks like here. So you get the idea.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely some.
Alan, So Alan, a couple of kind of more, technical questions, but how warm is the headset right now? So I'm just imagining if you actually did a workout, like are your eyebrows sweating? Is it hot inside?
No.
I mean, obviously there's power in there. So
yeah, I'm not sweating at all.
Okay.
The one game that did get me sweating, I'll just show you just for a quick second. That probably will cause my brow to sweat a little bit. Beat Saber is kind of a popular game on VR. So I have these two looking lightsaber things. Okay. And the idea with this is music-based. Okay. This is a rhythm movement game. I'm having to hit these blocks in the direction it tells me to hit them and slice them. So again, and it's doing to a track. You're not hearing the music, but there's a track playing.
Something.
I know. Look at this. you're not hearing the music track, but this is all very much tied to music.
Okay.
I did this for about 3 songs, and that was my exercise for the week. I'm done. So it was very much, but it's a fun experience. So again, I think there's some ways to get into this and make it, if you're looking for something a little more practical to actually use, there are ways to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. I think that's kind of a pretty good idea of everything going on here.
Well, so Alan, so there's a couple questions that have come through that have been holding off on here until you were ready.
I'm going to keep these headset on because I'm into this now. I'm not taking them off, so I'm just going to do the rest of the show.
So just keep your head from going crazy, so you don't get us sick any more than we already are here.
Okay, got it.
So does the headset utilize CPUs, GPUs, or both to provide the experience? Was one of the questions we have. I mean, I assume there has to be CPUs. Obviously, there's going to be a processor, but there's going to be GPUs, right, to kind of provide the graphics here. Yeah.
Yes, that would be my assumption as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have not really gotten into a lot of the specs on this, other than I know it does have storage, on board of the device. I think 128 gigabytes is what this has got for storing anything. But as far as CPU, GPU, it's not really something they publicize with the device. It's not like you get a faster unit or one that's a different model. Everything's a very consistent model processor that they put out right now. So, but I don't know what those terms are.
I am looking online. It looks like there's a 6 gigabytes of RAM. So that's giving you a decent amount of kind of bandwidth of use case. Doesn't really say a whole lot else about the specs. You're right. The other question was going to be about cost. Like, was it cost to get into this? So,
all right. So the base level of this whole setup I'm showing you is between $300 and $400.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is still pricey. It is less than it used to be. I mean, when I got the VR set for our family years ago, it was probably $600-700 for the setup, and it still required a PC that you had to be connected to. So I mean, it's an easy thing to put a lot of money into. Nowadays, for $300 to $400, it's an all-in-one situation. This is the base model. They do have one with higher storage, I think 256 gigabytes, but I didn't see the need for that, so I got the starting level. There's a lot of accessories they sell. I mean, right now you don't need any of them or have to have any of them. So really, it's the one-time cost. There's no ongoing fees, which is nice. So really, you pay it once and you're done. You have it. Now, there's a lot of apps and programs on here that are free. There's also a lot that cost money. So you kind of put into it what you want, just like it would be an app store on a phone or a computer as well. Yeah. But that's the cost. About I think you can find some for the low 300s. I've seen a couple that are refurbished units that are sold for about 300. But I think 390 might be like brand new out of the box.
I think,
no discount, no sale.
It looks like
no discount, no sale.
Comes with the Beat Saber game as kind of built in.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So Alan, why don't we talk for just a second about like what are possible directions that VR can go that would be a little bit more useful? I mean, as you mentioned, this is mostly entertainment. This is mostly kind of immersive experiences, but I'm thinking of things like, what are situations in which someone might need to block out their current environment and replace it with something else, right? Maybe, I mean, I could see in the future things like therapy and meditation and areas in which you want to remove someone from a particular area, maybe mental imagery and all of that you're kind of replacing their world, sports training, situations where, if I'm a professional downhill skier, obviously I can only go ski so many times a run in a day, right? With the amount of limited time and experience, but I could probably do it plenty of times just to get an idea where the gates are. And if I was a bobsledder, if I, putting yourself in some place where it's not easy to go and actually physically experience those things. Right?
Correct.
As you said,
that's a great
climbing. Yeah. If I was climbing climbing up at Yosemite. Well, I can't go and just practice all the time down in Yosemite, but if I were to see a climbing route and virtually kind of experience what it is, maybe I get to plan ahead. So I do see a lot of cool ways of putting you in a place where it's not easy for you to go in the real world, right?
Well, and yes, and I'll take it even a little bit further. I know this probably already exists on VR. I just haven't got into it yet. But, we used to talk about how companies like IKEA and some other furniture and home decor places were using augmented reality to allow you to place a piece of furniture in your room. Well, something like this, I think this goes a little step beyond that, where it's actually going to help you with designing a layout or designing how things are going to flow together. So imagine if you could lay out a room with various pieces of furniture and how they're going to be interact space-wise to each other. You have a much more visible way of working in an environment like this to see how practical it is for you.
Yeah.
And then you take it even from a professional standpoint, designing of those things. Yes, you can create 3D objects on a desktop environment, a computer environment, and spin them around with a cursor and mouse. But to actually have them in a environment like this, to be able to manipulate them, see them, and then even be able to, kind of walk around them or sit with them or whatever, and kind of really see that from that standpoint. I think there could be some great design opportunities for people building either architects or furniture or anywhere you want to see how human beings would actually interact with that space.
So. Yeah. I mean, I still see a real value for the augmented version of that, where obviously I'm looking through a tablet's camera of my actual place and dropping different things. But actually, Shane brings up a really good one, Alan, of simulating hazardous training environments, fire, military training. I mean, those are things you don't want to go and say, let's start a fire and put you in there that often, right? If we can have you experience something similar, medical training, right? Let's not give someone a heart attack just to see how it's going to work. Let's put you in that virtual environment. And that's been around a long time, right? The surgical training and things like that. So I think those are great
that's a perfect
why
example.
You might want to put someone in an environment where it's not feasible to actually create that real environment.
Yeah, I do think, and I think I absolutely agree. I think they're probably going to be down the road a need for more of the senses that get interacting with a device like this. Because right now, again, even though I can't even say it's touch because again, I'm interacting through a controller. So I can't actually feel with my fingers something. I could see again, gloves. I'm sure, they've already got prototypes and other high-end systems use gloves. Having that in the future to see more tactile touching as opposed to using your controllers will definitely help in some of these training situations or safety situations. I think, you talk about things like temperature, you talk about things like other parts of your body that would need some sort of interaction to really get a full immersive experience. Obviously, that's all possible. I mean, earlier years ago, it was just a headset and you only had the vision side of it. Now you've got vision, sound, and some form of tactile environment to it.
Haptic response.
So it's, again, I think there's a lot of opportunities here. I do know it's a barrier for a lot of people, because it is yet another piece of technology to invest into. And it does have a somewhat limited use case right now compared to like a typical computing environment or a phone or tablet environment. But I think it's an interesting harbinger where things are going. I do think AR's got a lot more practical uses, you're right, than VR. But VR's fun, though. It is fun. I mean, again, I've had this on for like the last hour, and I'm very happy in here at this moment. So I'm just going to stay here, Brian. Just going to stay here for a while. Yeah.
That's fine. You're just going to continue to make us sick on this end, but as long as you're happy.
I know. I keep forgetting. It is a different experience. I do encourage anybody, if you're really more curious about this, I would really encourage trying it out. Because again, it is very different than probably what that screenshot is showing you here. Brian, I'm going to take this off actually, so we can kind of get wrapped up on the show here. So,
welcome back. Welcome back to the world, man.
Thank you.
Okay, so interesting. That automatically cut off when you took that off. That automatically cut off the screen. Does it just recognize that you no longer have it on, or
it is in a sleep? is in a sleep mode. As soon as I took it off, it knew I
Okay.
was no longer wearing it. It put it in sleep mode. That preserves the battery as well. And so I can just honestly just set this off to the side and leave it here overnight. And it's fine to go the next morning if I put it back on. So
Nice.
yeah, overall,
Wow. That was
I
cool.
still love the technology. I've loved it ever since it started. I am fearful that it's a technology that, you know, you do for a few weeks and you're all excited and it's fun. And then you kind of lose some of the usefulness of it and you kind of forget about it. And that's what it was with the first version of the system we had in our family. This one, I do feel like is probably a little more because it's untethered. It is something I took it to my office today and just fired it up on the Wi-Fi and could use it. The fact that I can go and decide to sit over on my couch and use it here or somewhere else in the house all of a sudden becomes a lot more useful than having to go to a fixed spot in a house that had the setup, the PC and the cables and the cameras like it did before. So I'm hopeful it's something that will stay relevant for a while, but we'll certainly see.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's incredibly cool. It's the first time of course, I didn't experience it, but I got to at least see what would potentially it look like when you're involved in it. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's the Minority Report, right? It's you know the back when was it Tom Cruise that was kind of sorting through files and you know looking into databases and interacting with other people. I mean, that's kind of where all this the dreams of all this stuff started, and now it's kind of become a reality. You did mention to me earlier, Alan, that you can put files on your hard drive, your device, right?
I didn't even mention that, but you're right. So this particular device, and I can't speak to other platforms if it has the same capability, does have a file structure system in place on the drive, on the storage. So what that means is you can connect it to a computer, and that computer can actually see it as a connected device, and you can access the file structure. So what that means is if I had a movie file, let's say a home movie, that I wanted to watch in that theater experience I was showing you, I can actually copy that movie file over to the storage of this headset. Then when I go into the headset and I go to that theater room, it allows me to open up a movie from an internal storage, and it navigates to a folder just like an operating system. Open it up, and then I'm watching that movie on that big screen experience. So
yeah,
it does.
That's pretty
I'm
cool.
trying to really find out some more ways to tap into that file repository and how I could use that. That's kind of my next phase, is to kind of dig into that a little bit more. But I know right now photos and movies are the one thing that are very easy to bring in and display in that virtual environment off your computer.
Yeah.
Again, it does not require the computer. It's just a matter of, like, right now I'm charging it. I have it plugged up to my Mac to charge it, and it automatically sees it as a volume on my Mac that I can now see the file structure and copy things to if I choose to.
Can you? Is it possible to utilize? Well, you had Netflix on there, right? And that is normal Netflix, right? You are logged in, you are clicking, and be able to watch. So really, I mean, if someone for $400, if someone lived in San Francisco and all they could afford was a closet size apartment and there is no TV space, this became their TV and their full experience, they're going to have a great visual experience to be able to watch Netflix, to be able to, if they don't have a computer and this is their way of seeing documents. I assume there's probably an email version where you could go and pull up email and you know, scroll through different things. So this could
actually
become
a full web browser,
your full screen experience for things, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a web browser in the experience as well. I didn't even bring that up, but yes, you can navigate on the web and go to websites and check your Gmail or anything like that from that VR experience. So yeah, you're right. If somebody didn't want to invest in a large TV experience, or they live by themselves and there's never really a need to be watching something with somebody else in the room, or they just, you know, maybe even computing wise, no real high need for computing power, just enough to go in and be able to enjoy some games and watch some videos, watch YouTube. I mean, it's
it does seem like typing would be kind of a bear on that. Is it voice capable?
There is voice capability. Yep.
Okay.
You can do dictation. It does have a pop-up keyboard. I didn't show you that in the sample, but yeah, you can have a pop-up keyboard and do your hunt and peck
And is
with
there
your
a virtual
cursor.
assistant built into it, like Meta, take me to whatever, or
I
do you
don't
know
believe
yet?
so. I
Okay.
think you can do dictation, but I do not think there's like an actual voice system,
Voice assistant.
voice assistant system built in. Um,
Okay.
no, it does have Bluetooth, as I showed you before. You can have a physical keyboard and mouse. If you're
Okay.
someone who's really good typing without having to see your keyboard, it's very possible you could have it in front of you, like like in the real world, and you could type from it into the virtual
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
So there are some ways around it, but you're right. I think there's some interesting use cases for certain people. Otherwise, yes, for a majority of people, it is still I want to watch some cool videos and play some cool games in a VR experience. And
Yeah.
if that's worth it for you to do and enough to experiment with, then that's fine. Now, for me, I am super dedicated to this podcast in the world of Brothers in Tech. So I
Yes, you
just
are.
charged it to the Brothers in Tech account when I bought this because I felt like this was me
Yeah.
researching and
Yeah.
investigating things. So I hope that was okay, Brian.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so therefore our balance is now negative $400
Negative
because
$400.
it was
Yeah.
zero in there before. So
Actually,
yeah.
we owe somebody $400 right now.
Well, that's good. Well, all in the name of research, Alan. All in the
Yeah,
name of
thanks.
research. So
Well, I hope this was helpful. And again, I know a lot of it was just me showing and telling and goofing around in VR, but I think there's enough people out there that probably have heard about VR in the past and just thought, hey, that's just a video game system that you put on your head. And yeah, 75% of it is still mostly that. But there are some interesting applications or some interesting ways to use it. I am still anxious to see where it could go in the future. AR, we are definitely going to be hearing a lot more about than we will be VR, I think, in the near future. But this is still a fun technology. And I'm just glad I got to share it with you guys a little bit and talk through it.
Well, I mean, honestly, this is where you can see the companies banking on this, right? VR, I mean, here's my take. I think VR for the near and probably even fairly long-term future is going to be still a niche situation, right? VR is going to be for, as we said, the people that are into gaming or the people that need training. But of course, that's probably not going to be individuals buying it. It's going to be a company buying it and training.
It'll be
someone.
company workplace situations. Yeah.
But you can see why Apple, at least, and of course, Google Glass and everything, Apple is banking on AR as being the something that potentially everybody could utilize, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna have you wear your glasses, and you'll still be able to see directions pop up in the top right screen of your glasses as you're walking to tell you if you're supposed to keep going straight or turn right, so that we can get our eyes away from our screens and actually represent other things within our visual environment. So I think augmented is going to be the more every person, the hope is to enhance your current situation, but VR is going to be some really cool, unique ways of getting out of reality, right? And getting into a space where it's really hard for you to get to any other way, right? So
very true.
That's very cool.
I think you summed it up pretty well. I agree with you on all that. It is definitely still a very niche marketplace, niche need for VR, and I think it's going to stay that way for a while. But I'm also saying too, because Brian, I'm talking to people that are some people watching this that later maybe in my age range, or maybe you're older than me or close to that. You got kids, you got grandkids, you got other people that are kind of getting into this. I mean, it's good to know what this is capable of doing. Does it make a really great gift for someone? Sure. I mean, if somebody is the kind of person that loves this kind of new technology and you could see them really experiencing this world in a new way, I can see a lot of kids really getting a kick out of some things you can do on this. It's gotten user friendly enough where I think younger kids can get into this and work it. But some of those experience based things, there was one I didn't show you, but it was a deep sea diving kind of 360 environment, which was, again, not something you could do on your own easily. And that's the kind of thing I think there's a lot of opportunities for younger people to really kind of see and experience things they couldn't do before. So,
okay. So sorry to derail you a little bit, but since you did mention age, can someone wear their glasses while wearing VR? Yeah.
Great question. So this particular model, the Quest, the Meta Quest, does come with a little frame attachment. And I've actually got it installed on this. I don't know if you can tell, there's a little bit of a gap right here.
Yep.
That is actually a spacer I installed that came with it automatically. And it is a glasses spacer. So what it means is you can wear your glasses inside this unit, and you don't get pushed up against the actual lens because it's spaced it out a little bit. Now you have the ability to focus these lenses from inside. You slide these the lenses back and forth.
I was going to ask that as well.
And that focuses it. So granted, if you put your glasses on, you're going to have to kind of change your focus because it's going to be a different lens you're viewing through. Right now, mine's set for me without glasses, but I did wear my glasses recently, and I just had to do a slight refocus of the lenses on the inside. But yes, it does have room for the glasses.
Because this is something important for people to realize from the visual sense. Even though it looks as though you're looking at something far away, you're technically still looking at something 2 inches away from you. So if you're someone who needs reading glasses for things that are up close, that means having those reading glasses on or close glasses are going to be beneficial. And then you focus from there, right? So that's an important piece.
Brian, I think we can anybody in our general age range can start to say that, if I hold my phone right here and try to read, it's fuzzy right now for me. So that's going to tell you, because that's basically, you're imagining you're watching a lens, a screen this close to your eyeballs. And if this is fuzzy, that's why you need the lens adjustments inside the unit. But again, I've got horrible near sight vision. Everything near to me is very, very blurry. I was able to get this focused, and it's really sharp and looks great. So no worries there. Yeah,
it's good. Yeah. And it's probably, I'm hoping that they have some directions for not wearing this more than X number of hours in a row, because the visual environment of your eyes are only focused at one distance, whereas they're supposed to be focusing throughout the world. So you don't want to wear this 24 hours a day. Right?
Well, and I was joking earlier about how I'm just going to stay in that. No, I was, after that hour, I'm pretty good. I'm ready to take it off. I'm ready to
so maybe go through maybe a movie. That's about it.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a lot of safety hazard messages that come up when you first set this up, walking you through it. Not only about the boundaries I was telling you, that is really important. I mean, you'll be amazed how tempting it is when you're playing something or moving your hands around and you completely forget about the environment. It's easy to hurt yourself butting up against a desk, a chair, or a wall or something else. So they go through a lot of walkthroughs on making sure you're setting the boundaries and keeping that safe. They do a lot of safety hazards about length of time that you're using this at one time. There's a lot of that to it. I mean, you do have to be careful. There are some downfalls to it. There's a reason why we as a society should not be sitting 24 hours a day with a lens in front of us like this. And
well, one thing I do want you to try and do this before you and I connect next time, see if there's some sort of meditation app. Because I think to me that would be one really, really cool way of completely blocking out the outside world, putting you somewhere else and kind of enhancing it. So I'd love to see that.
Meditation, I definitely will check on that. And we'll do a follow-up later on. I'll kind of do a little touch base in on some maybe some more unique and enhanced applications in VR other than the typical watching movies or playing games. I think I'd love to dig in to see the kind of the productivity or personal enhancement you can do with a device like this. So good.
So just because you want to help the listeners out, you're going to play with this a little bit more.
I will continue to play in VR for our listeners, for our viewers.
Man, your dedication is just off the charts. Yeah.
I'd rather stay in the real world and do my chores around the house and fix things and go to work and all that. I'd rather do all that. But I will, for the listeners and viewers, I will put on a headset and go into an imaginary virtual world for a period of time and experiment with things there. So.
Yeah, you are such a giver. All right, thank you. Thank you for all of us. Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
all right, Brian. Well, let's wrap it up. I know this is a little different.
It was. Yeah, we went virtual here. That's good.
This is a little different than a typical episode in that we're not really instructing as much or educating as much. It's a lot more show and tell, but I hope it gave some good insight to people as to what's possible and where the state of VR is nowadays. So, but Brian, if somebody did want to dialogue with us, maybe they've got their own VR experience and they've experienced things differently than I described, or maybe some different applications we haven't talked about and they want to share that with us. how can they get a hold of us?
Yeah, drop us an email at info@themesh.tv and tell us about new topics you're interested in. We're always trying to find new things that might be of interest to you. Also, info@themesh.tv, and then you can also go to our website at www.brothers-in-tech.com. So brothers-in-tech.com. So
all right. Okay. Well, Brian,
all right, Alan.
Since we bought this with Brothers in Tech money, I guess I can send it over to you if you want to try it out for a little bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, like that's going to happen. But yeah, just let's go ahead and end so that you can get back into your virtual world and get back to your happy place. So
yeah, I got Top Gun's already queued up. I'm already like in a good spot in the movie. I got to kind of get back to that.
Oh man!
All right, thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate it, and we hope to hear from you soon. And we'll talk to you next time we get together to record. All right. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.